Okay, welcome back. Yeah, it's time to talk to Jim Fetzer about many things. Jim has a whole lineup of stuff to talk about. I've never seen more material that's worth kicking around on the radio than we're seeing now. It's all over the map. Hello, Professor. How are you?
Oh, great, Jim. Glad to be back with you again.
Thank you. Very nice of you to say that. We have a lot to talk about. I guess we could start out, if you want, where you'd like, with the Pope. I got to tell you, I do not like this guy. I haven't liked him from the beginning. I don't like any of them. Any man that runs around in a Halloween costume and has people groveling before him doesn't have my respect. But he's acting for all the world like, in my view, a New World Order shill. What do you see?
Really, I'm fascinated by that, Jeff. I mean, you got to tell me more. I enjoyed the whole visit. I thought it was actually wonderful, even spectacular, marred only by this meeting with the Kentucky clerk, which I think was a real blunder, and tarnish, which otherwise I thought was a simply marvelous visit.
Wow, how interesting.
Yeah, and I'm a completely non-religious person. I mean, I'm an agnostic, recognizing you can't rationally prove either the existence of God or the non-existence of God, and therefore I suspend belief. But I just feel that he was making so many gestures and was such a humane fellow, and gave a marvelous talk in Congress, I thought, and cited some very worthy figures from a moral point of view, including the relatively obvious Abraham Lincoln and Martin Luther King, but also the less obvious Dorothy Day and Thomas Merton, where Merton, to me, is by far the most interesting of the figures he mentioned, where he was a really breathtaking scholar, Catholic, of course, but where he did a searching work. He understood Buddhism. Buddhists reported more profoundly than any other non-Buddhist had ever. Mm-hmm. And he explored, some of man's inhumanity to man, which he referred to as the unspeakable, where his work was picked up upon by James Douglas, Douglass, in his book JFK and the Unspeakable, which is an exploration of the circumstances of his assassination, where Douglas was inspired by the work of Thomas Merton. So It seemed to me there might be a covert suggestion of, concern or sympathy for those who mourn our 35th president.
Well, okay. I just don't find anything in the man to make me feel like he's doing anything but pushing the agenda.
Well, I'd like you to elaborate on that. I mean, of course, he went into Congress and spoke against.
I don't have quotes. I've read them.
Climate warming. I mean, he was supporting, the control of emissions, and in Philadelphia, of course, he was talking about the principles of freedom and democracy, and I certainly.
Well, he's a political man in that sense. He's two people, really. He's a man who pronounces the dogma of the church, and that's the Bible. And then he has got his own opinions, allegedly. I don't know. There's something about him I don't trust. Do you know about reverse speech? Have we talked about that?
I don't know that you and I have ever spoken about it. I've heard, references or allusions to it in the past. Yeah. He has done a couple of things that I think are significant. One is he demoted a cardinal who had been anti-gay and so forth, and he also gave priests the right to absolve Catholics of the sin of abortion. Those are both, I think, progressive moves by this Pope.
Mm-hmm. I am afraid reverse speech is fascinating. When you speak forward, like you're speaking to me, your subconscious and mine are speaking to each other in reverse. The subconscious mind uses the sounds that we use to make the forward speech, words and statements, in reverse, perfectly clear, syllabically, grammatically correct statements, sometimes entire sentences. that speak your truth. You cannot lie from the subconscious. It is your truth. We have a program coming up next week, a special, Reversals on the Pope. If reverse speech is accurate, and I believe it to be 100% accurate, David Oates in Australia has been working with it for over 30 years. He briefed the CIA and other intelligence agencies for 5 days. They apparently use it all the time to find out what people are really saying. It's the ultimate lie detector. Now, tune in next Tuesday and find out what the Pope is saying in reverse speech. A quick example. One small step for man, one giant step for mankind. Remember the words. What he says in reverse, and you can listen to it at reversespeech.com, is man will spacewalk, further predicting exactly what happened. So that's an example of a congruent reversal having to do with the forward speech and, in his case, speaking the truth. There are over 10,000 examples of this on reversespeech.com. I'm not asking you or anyone to say, hey, I believe it, but it's worth considering. It's a fascinating field.
I have 2 comments. One is, he said a small step for man, a great leap, or a giant leap for mankind, not a giant step. But more importantly, we didn't go to the moon. We didn't go to the moon, Jeff. I mean, if this were accurate, it would be
what he said was
we're deceiving the public.
Well, what he said was, at some point in the future, man will spacewalk. He wasn't validating what he was doing. He wasn't walking in space. At that moment, he was stepping down, allegedly, on the lunar surface, which was obviously contrived. So, no, it wasn't necessarily reflective of what he was saying forward. It had to do with it. It was in the same genre, but it was different.
I would find that more impressive if the reverse speech said, well, here we are in a stage set, and I'm faking what I'm saying here. Who knows?
Well,
maybe someday we'll wind up in space, but we haven't done it yet, other than, we've got a space station out there, but of course it's nowhere near.
Have a listen. Go spend some time at reversespeech.com. That's the only one I could remember.
Yeah.
Some of Obama's reversals are more than damning. Donald Trump's reversals, every one of them has essentially said that he's telling the truth.
Oh, it said that he's telling the truth.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's sensational.
And there's at least 24 of them that are so dead on, so spot on, that it's scary.
Well, Jeff, that's impressive.
The guy is telling exactly how he feels.
I will have to look into it. The Pope, by the way, has been attacked for also observing that the Koran is a book of peace. This, of course, drives the Israelis up the wall because they've been all their efforts to demonize Muslims and, of course, blame them for 9/11 and a host of other events for which they were utterly not responsible. And Netanyahu went to the UN today, and it was a pathetic speech condemning the Iran nuclear deal, even though he and every knowledgeable American intelligence agency is aware that our own 16 determined already in 2007 that Iran was not developing nuclear weapons, which they reaffirmed in 2011. Even the Mossad reported to Netanyahu in 2012 that Iran was not pursuing nuclear weapons, just 3 weeks before he goes to the United Nations and declares precisely the opposite. He did it again today, Jeff, and it was all the poor Israelis and the poor Jews and all their suffering, and alluding to the Holocaust, which we know is an elaborate story that isn't substantiated by the facts. I mean, I find it shocking. The man is such a deceitful liar. They do reverse speech on Netanyahu. I'm sure that would be extraordinarily.
Oh, they do. We have, and you'll probably find a whole bunch of them on reversespeech.com.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
This is a real interesting field, and I think you will find it. We have to take a break, so hold on just a minute, if you would, sir, and we'll come right back with more. And mark my words, reverse speech special program next Tuesday night because of the reversals that turned up out of the Pope's subconscious spoken words. And those of you who understand reverse speech won't want to miss this. And for those of you who, well, just don't miss it. Next Tuesday. From what I know, and I haven't heard, it is staggering. We'll find out. Okay, and we're back with Jim. Okay, what else is on your docket for this evening?
Well, I went to the reverse speech page to look at what they said about the Pope, and I won't anticipate Tuesday, but I'm rather shocked by some of what is being reported there, Jeff. So
you need to go and listen. You need to listen to the actual forward and reverse speech. If the syllables are not all there in reverse, they do not pass muster. Now, the chances of this happening are zero. Zero. This is not something that's just a quirk. It's not backward masking in some rock and roll lyrics. This is the voice of the subconscious mind speaking. You and I right now are speaking in two ways, forward and reverse. It's the proof is overwhelming. It's absurd. 30 years of proof. And why would the CIA and several other intel agencies fly David Oates to New York for 5 days to fully brief them on reverse speech, how to do it, how to use it, and so on? I mean, it's just an obvious thing about human nature, and
I'm tremendously impressed by your report that on reverse speech, Trump turns out clean as a whistle, because I think
go there and listen to the Trump forward and the Trump reversals, Jim. Listen to them several times after we're off the air here in a few minutes. He is 1,000% speaking his truth.
This is absolutely fascinating, Jeff, because he's been the bull in the china shop. He's been exposing the corruption of the political system, how the rich buy and sell politicians, how because he'd given a donation to Hillary, he could invite her to his wedding and she would turn up. Oh, by the way, I was going to ask you about Kevin McCarthy. You know, we had the Bonner resignation, but now the Republicans are planning to make a Speaker of the House. Boehner. Yeah, Boehner, right.
We don't want to confuse people. It's not Bonner.
It's so often mispronounced by all the liberals who want to trash him. Boehner, but Kevin McCarthy is designated to be the speaker, and this guy seems a complete flyweight. He was on with Sean Hannity the other day, and he wanted to strengthen his conservative
credentials. Well, that's what they want, is a flyweight, so they can control him. Come on.
He talked about creating the Benghazi Committee, which has now run longer than the Warren Commission, longer than the 9/11 Commission, and he said that was there to bring down Hillary's standing in the polls and how successful they've been. I mean, Hillary supporters have suggested that forever, but now you got the guy who's going to be the Speaker of the House announcing it to the public. This is insane. This was a colossal blunder. But I'll tell you, Jeff, between this is going to gain Hillary so much sympathy over the trashing over Benghazi.
Hillary will win the nomination. There's no question.
And the Republicans, because of their anti-abortion, they're driving all the women to vote for Hillary. They're guaranteeing she's going to be the next president of the United States.
I'm worried about Trump because the leaders of the GOP have earmarked millions as we round the corner past the holidays. They're going to try and take this man down. When you go and listen to the reversals, Jim, of Donald J. Trump, you're going to be amazed. Now, keep in mind that if he were lying, the reversals would show it.
Yes.
And just keep that in mind.
Yes.
Everything, this is a very, very interesting and crucial tool to helping understand. That's why the intel agencies were briefed on it, taught how to use it, and why they've never once mentioned it since, because they use it all the time.
Let me mention two recent studies. Gallup has found that half of the U.S. fears the government, the other half aren't paying attention. And an even more recent poll shows that over 60% of the public doesn't believe what they hear from the mass media. You and I know both of those are well-founded polls. I think that's absolutely right. And thank God the public is catching on. because they have made lying to the American people perfectly legal since they nullified the Smith-Mundt Act of 1949 and permit the use of techniques of propaganda and disinformation through the mass media. That's perfectly legal today.
Indeed. All right. Email me later tonight after you go listen to the Trump reversals.
Okay.
And now listen when he's speaking in reverse to the syllables and the grammar. It's all proper. It's all there. Let me know what you think.
I love it. I love it, Jeff. Thanks.
Okay, good. You betcha. Talk to you, Jim. Okay, let's get right to it. Hour number 3. This is going to be an hour that may be difficult for some of you. So let me just do a little caveat here. If you are a devout Catholic, more power to you, and bless that. If you really like the Pope, you really probably aren't going to like this hour. Is it proof of anything illegal, perverted, untoward that the Pope may be involved in or may have been involved in his earlier days in the church? I don't know. I do know that reverse speech is an extraordinary tool to get a look at the truth and reality that someone really thinks and really feels at the subconscious level. Past actions, past deeds, past belief systems, all laid bare through reverse speech. And of course, the man who is the father of reverse speech, David John Oates, is here with us this hour, if you've been watching the lineup. And we're going to play some reversals that I have specifically not listened to because I wanted to be exposed to these, as I always am, basically, for the first time, so I can make up my own mind. Now, if you put in Google, just type in pedophilia and the Catholic Church, you'll find 300,000 results. Catholic Church sexual abuse cases. There's the Wikipedia link. Studies have found that priests in the Catholic Church, blah, 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 may not be anymore. And then it goes on to talk about pedophile priests. You have to understand that this is not a joke. Huffington Post, Catholic Church pedophilia. A Catholic Church pedophile abuse investigator, I'll read that again, a Catholic Church pedophile abuse investigator is serving time in jail after pleading guilty to possession of child pornography. Okay? It gets crazy. Child sexual abuse in the Roman Catholic Church, another major article. There are just almost 300,000 entries, as I said. 1 in 50 priests is a pedophile. I would suggest that number is far too conservative from what I've seen, just simply watching the news in a pastoral sense for years. It goes on and on and on. The scandal of pedophilia in the Catholic Church. Catholic Church tries to quiet pedophilia scandal with new policy. And that story was written April 12th, 2010. It just goes on and on and on. So, let me just suggest that whoever ascends to the position of Pope in the Catholic Church had to start somewhere and came up through the ranks. And that's where most of the pedophiles seem to be created. All right? Catholic Church delivers astonishing pedophilia rationalization. There's another story. Rationalization. In other words, they're excusing it. They're coming up with a reason why it happens. Lots and lots to this story. We're going to hear some reversals of the Pope. All right? Now, if you are sensitive to this issue, don't listen. It's perfectly fine. Just go listen to something else or do whatever. The statement claimed that only 1.5 to 5% of Catholic clergy were involved in sex abuse, but reality check, that's still 22,500 sex predators that we know about. And that's if only 1.5 to 5% of the Catholic clergy were involved in pedophilia. And it's much higher than that, according to many. So we may have 100, 200,000. Who knows? What makes a pedophile? One encounter with a child? One case of sexual abuse? Or 10? Or do you have to commit 100 sexual abuse issues? We'll just be gentle with the words tonight. Before you're called a pedophile. You'll have to make that decision yourself. So let's go down to Australia and find out what David John Oates has found out through his reverse speech analysis of some of the Pope's pronouncements during his trip to the U.S. Hello, David. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you just fine, Jeff. You hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you. Loud and clear.
Good on you. Excellent. Yeah, quite a prelude to the Pope's reversals. I think you're going to be a little bit shocked. I've got several explanations for them, which we'll explore as we continue throughout the show. But it's answered one of the questions I always have great difficulty in answering when I do my media interviews is I often get asked the question, what's the most shocking reversal you've ever found? And I never know how to answer that question because there's so many of them. How do you choose which one to pick from? But anyway, I've now found the answer, and this is reversals on the Pope. So,
wow. Do you think that I cover in the intro the issue well enough to make people?
Oh yeah. Oh sure.
Right.
Yeah, you covered it just fine. Okay, we've got about a dozen reversals to present. As always, these are only the best out of a whole lot more that was sent to me. They all have to pass my criteria before they go public. So I'm fairly confident with all of them. Fortunately, when he came to the United States last month, he was speaking in English for a lot of his trip. So we're able to get some good snippets from him. And the first snippets I'm going to play are fairly benign. These are from a informal discussion with Obama on the White House lawn. So let's start off with this first.
I would like all men and women of goodwill in this great nation to support the efforts of the international community to protect the vulnerable in our world.
Okay, so talking about the international community to protect the vulnerable in our world. And he says in reverse, I love him.
I love him. I love him.
There we go. No.
I love him.
All right, who do we think he's alluding to there?
Oh, I don't know. He might be thinking about Obama. I don't know.
So he was sitting right there looking at him when he was talking.
Right. Sitting there right here looking at him when he was talking.
All right, now, I don't want to lead this into a sewer necessarily, but Obama is obviously gay, has been virtually his whole life since a teenager. And if the Pope is bisexual or gay, homosexual, he might find Obama to be a knockout.
Interesting. Okay. I never thought about that. Okay. All right. Anyway, so there we go. Fairly clear reversal, I'm sure you would agree to start off.
Yeah, we might want to play the forwards on these things twice because he has a thick accent.
Thick accent.
But if you want to do that again, I would like to hear it again, forward and reverse, because he's right with Obama. We all know that Obama is a narcissist, to put it mildly. And we all, I think, know, and whatever his choice, it doesn't matter to me, but he is gay. And go ahead.
All right. So here's the forwards again.
I would like all men and women of goodwill in this great nation to support the efforts of the international community to protect the vulnerable, in our world.
That's calling all men and women of goodwill and community to protect the vulnerable in our world. So.
Got it.
No, nice, noble.
Yeah,
Forwards.
yeah.
This is all transcribed out in full on my website, by the way. If anyone's had trouble listening, just go to the website. All right, now we have another reversal. I don't really know what it means, this one. And this is also from his meeting on the White House lawn. And this is the second one of this, and then we're going to go to the U.S. Congress speech, which is where all the main ones are. So here's the forward.
We still have time to make the change needed to bring about a sustainable and integral development, for we know that things can change.
Okay, so
David, did you take note of that? The use of the word sustainable. That's a globalist New World Order
really?
axiom. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, that's big time. And
then that explains reversal then. Reversal says Nazis that warn you.
Oh.
There we go.
Nazis that warn you. Nazis that warn you.
You hear that one there?
Yeah.
Nazis that warn you.
So there we go. I could talk about the New World Order, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. Very interesting. It's his voice sounds like Bela Lugosi's nephew or something. He's got that thick Spanish, almost an Italian roll with the R's.
Yeah.
Anyway,
interesting accent. All right, now these next batch of reversals are where I was going to say damning, where the interesting reversals lie. They're going to cause us to have some discussion. Okay, so he was addressing the U.S. Congress, and he was speaking in English. Fortunately, no interpreters over the top of him, like the UN address was absolutely useless because he was speaking in Italian, and there was an English interpreter over the top of him anyway. So there's nothing we can do with the UN speech. But here he is speaking to the Congress. Now, some of his forwards is particularly hard to understand. You know what, I should get my website up. Let me just go and quickly go to the page on my site, and I can actually read it off the transcript.
David's going to reversespeech.com.
Yeah, reversespeech.com. And, okay, so here's the forwards of the first one. And he's talking about Abraham Lincoln, liberty, Martin Luther King, and social rights and justice. Okay, so here we go.
Lincoln, liberty. Martin Luther King, liberty in plurality and non-exclusion. Dorothy Day, social justice and the rights of persons.
Quite straightforward, actually. Liberty, Lincoln, Martin Luther King, liberty in plurality and non-exclusion, Dorothy Day, social justice and the rights of persons. What a strange thing forward.
That was a very, very odd statement.
Yeah, very odd. Anyway, the reversal says, eat holy cum. Here we go.
Eat the holy cum.
No, eat the holy cum, sorry.
Eat the holy cum. Eat the holy cum.
And again.
Eat the holy cum.
You hear that one there, Jeff?
Well, I do. All the syllables are there.
It's all there.
It's grammatically correct. I would have to say that's not a congruent reversal, but perhaps something he was. If we're reading it right and it's correct, it's what the subconscious in the man was dwelling upon at some level during that speech.
If not consciously, certainly unconsciously.
Right.
And of course, as was pointed out by someone on my site, he's speaking as a representative of the Catholic Church. So are the reversals representative of a systemic problem within the Catholic Church? So anyway, so
now that's a very interesting observation. Yeah, it could be him or it could be the church.
Exactly correct. Yeah, yeah. Because as the leader of the church, naturally his reversals reflect the views of the church or the energy of the church. So anyway, so that's the first one. Eat holy cum. Here's the second one, and he's saying, this conviction has led me from the beginning of my ministry to advocate at different levels for the global abolition of the death penalty. So here we go.
This conviction has led me from the beginning of my ministry to advocate at different levels the global abolition of the death penalty.
Okay, now once again we have another sexual reversal, and so you want to start thinking, well, hang on, why have we got these sexual reversals here? And he says, evil, suck, and the last word starts with a C. You'll be able to hear it. Here we go. Quite clear, I'm sure you'd agree. So there we go. There's the second one. So,
Now, the last word sounded here like the word off.
Off. I'm hearing C, the C word.
All right.
You want me to play it again?
See if you hear any F, OFF by any chance where you are, because I'm a long way away.
Okay, here we go. Oh, it's definitely C. Oh, I'm here. Yeah, I heard what you heard then. Yeah, okay. All right.
Sounds like evil sucks off.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, it still means the same thing. It's still
yeah.
It's still quite damning. Here, let me go. Okay, let me continue the trend. Here we go. We'll run this one and this one forward. Where is it? For those people and their nations, from the heart of American democracy, I wish to reaffirm my highest esteem and appreciation. Those first contacts were often turbulent and violent, but we know it is very difficult to judge the past by the criteria of the present. Here we go.
For those peoples and their nations, from the heart of American democracy, I wish to reaffirm my highest esteem and appreciation. Those first contacts were often turbulent and violent, but we know that it's very difficult to judge the past by the criteria of the present.
Okay, now this one's...
They're difficult to judge the past by the criteria of the present. All right.
Right. And that's actually right where the reversal occurs. Right where he says those exact words there.
Oh, really? Difficult to judge the past
by the criteria of the present.
Okay. Huh, okay.
And here he says, I rape the other kid.
I rape the other kid.
I rape the other kid.
Can't deny that one, Jeff.
I rape the other kid.
No, it's all there again. The grammar is there. The syllables are there. It is what it is. I don't know the man. I know nothing about him. But the church is absolutely polluted with sexual child abuse, horror, rape, you name it. There's no questioning that. None. Now, would the Pope have knowledge of that? Yes. Would the Pope, if in fact the church is run by pedophiles, be put in that position if he weren't a pedophile? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not.
See, the argument that is this a reflection of the Catholic Church, or is it himself
or the man? Yeah.
And this reversal says, I rape, present tense, the other kid. So that makes you think, well, interesting. Okay, let's run the reversal again. I rape the other kid.
I rape the other kid.
I mean, and there again. Okay. All right, so let's move on. How are you going so far, Jeff?
I'm fine. Pretty ugly stuff. I've known you for over 20 years. I've never heard anything like this. So
no, I've never found anything like this.
No,
never. Well, the closest that I could get would be Bill Clinton and the Monica Lewinsky affair, which I was finding before they happened.
Yes.
And I remember going public with that, and everyone told me I was crazy, and there it all happened. But they weren't as bad as these ones.
No, these are clearly in a class all unto themselves. It suggests, and it may not be the case, it suggests someone who has been involved in a lifestyle at a very high level for a very long time and is either speaking individually or collectively or for the church as it exists in day-to-day life on this planet. I don't have the answers for this, but I've never heard anything like this.
There's another explanation too. I want to read you another quote that was posted on my website about these reversals. The quote reads, an organization that demands celibacy, love, and peace from its leaders is bound to be asking for trouble. I'm not in the least bit surprised that we haven't come to those reversals yet, that violent and repressed sexual reversals are found embedded in the deep unconscious. I agree, these are disturbing, and it shows that if people are forbidden to acknowledge their entire human nature, that's only to acknowledge, not act upon, the deep unconscious mind must hold their dark side carefully hidden even from themselves. Recent sexual abuse revelations are the most heinous expressions of this system, and the sooner Roman Catholic priests allowed an open sexual life with consenting adults of either gender, the better and healthier the organisation will become and the safer the children will be. So there we go.
Now that's a very good comment, very articulate, very well said, insightful.
Yeah.
This he's suggesting, I think, that this man's subconscious is not known to him at some level. Potentially, it's that deep and that dark. This is talking schizophrenia, multiple personalities, DID. Who knows? Who knows?
Either way, no matter which way you look at it, is it him personally involved in acts either in the past or present? Is it a collective reflection of the Catholic Church? Or is it deeply repressed unconscious desires? Either way, it doesn't bode well for the Pope.
No, I concur. There's no other way to read it. Let's take a break and think about this. And remember that the subconscious doesn't lie. It's not capable of lying. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, let me read a little something here. This is published September 30th, 2009. Catholic Church delivers astonishing pedophilia rationalization in Geneva. Still defensive about the sexual abuse scandals that have rocked the Catholic Church in myriad dioceses in multiple countries, the Vatican's permanent observer to the UN, Archbishop such and such, following a meeting of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, during which Keith Wood, representative of the International Humanist and Ethical Union, asserted that the Church had breached several articles of the Convention on the Rights of the Child by continuing to cover up the sexual abuse of children. It went on to say the statement particularly complained that other religions had problems with sex abuse too. And then the writer goes on to dismiss those as being really inconsequential in terms of the size of the abuse in the Catholic Church. He said, In a defined and provocative statement issued following a meeting of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, the Holy See said the majority of Catholic clergy who committed such acts with children were not pedophiles, but simply homosexuals attracted to sex with adolescent males. Huh? Huh? The statement said that rather than pedophilia, quote, it would be, this is the church, it would be more correct to speak of ephebophilia, a homosexual attraction to adolescent males. EPHE, ephebophilia. Of all priests involved, of all priests involved in the abuses, 80 to 90% belong to this sexual orientation minority, which is sexually engaged with adolescent boys between the ages of 11 and 17. Okay, first of all, ephebophilia is not specific to people with same-sex attractions, and you can take it from there. But what a morbid thing for the church to do, to try to excuse itself from the rampant pedophilia that is well known by practically everyone by now. Go ahead.
Well, I hope these reversals on the Pope go viral, quite frankly, so everyone posts this archive everywhere, I reckon.
Well, you've been doing this 30 years, David, and you've never seen anything like this.
No, I've never seen anything like this. No, this is the worst I've seen it. All right, here we go. Here's the Pope again. He's talking forward about the challenge that faces today, calls for renewal of a spirit of cooperation which has accomplished so much good throughout the history of the United States. So here's the forward.
The challenges facing us today call for a renewal of that spirit of cooperation which has accomplished so much good throughout the history of the United States.
Okay, now here he says, I'm evil, you seek it. This is the second time he uses the word evil. I'm evil, you seek it.
You seek it.
Yep.
Wow.
There it is.
Well, I'm appalled. I don't know again any more than we're hearing, but I've never heard reversals like this.
Nope, not at all. Nope, this is the leader of the Roman Catholic Church. Yeah, we still got time. Yeah, I just want to make sure I don't run out of time before I get.
Well, we'll go ahead through the break, so we'll pick up 3 minutes.
All right. Okay, all right. So here's another. I'm not too sure what this one means, but I'll play it anyway.
We need a conversation which includes everyone, since the environmental challenge we are undergoing and its human roots concern and affect us all.
Its human roots can affect us all, okay. And here it says last blood. Last blood.
Last blood.
Yep. Nice.
Last blood.
Nice and clear.
Last blood.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
What is the subconscious talking about with that?
I have no idea.
Wow, all right.
Maybe the next reversal may answer it.
All right.
Okay, listen to the next one. Look, this one I almost didn't include this one. And only the first word of it was a little bit imprecise, but it finally scraped through my quality control and got to the website. So here we go. He's talking forwards about when it fosters a culture which enables people to dream of full rights for all their brothers and sisters, as Martin Luther King sought to do. And this reversal occurs on the word as Martin Luther King sought to do. So quite noble statement forward.
When it fosters a culture which enables people to dream of full rights for all brothers and sisters, as Martin Luther King sought to do.
Okay, quite noble words forwards, and backwards he says, murder was the Catholic answer. And Catholic is Catholic, it's sort of long and drawn out. So here we go. And again. And again.
So, what is he saying?
Murder was the Catholic answer.
Let's play it again.
Okay, you're having trouble with that one, are you?
A little bit.
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah, like I said, that only just scraped through my quality control.
Well, it's there. It's correct. No, I think it's right. You did it right.
Yeah, no, I think it's there too. That's why I finally put it through and put it on the website. So there, that's the last blood. The church has got blood on its hands. It has a history of murder and sexual abuse. It's
horrible throughout history. Horrible.
Yeah. The Catholic Church's history is just full of blood. It's just incredible. So that's what the last blood is. And look at all of these reversals are totally and completely in direct contradiction to what he's saying forward. This is extremely incongruent. Not only is it incongruent, it's disturbing. This is the sick man.
Yeah.
You know, I had one woman post on the website. I mean, this has caused controversy, and I haven't, even before I've gone public with you tonight. And I had one person say, "Oh, I don't think it necessarily shows the Pope's a bad man." And I almost replied. I said, if you're a single mum and you found these reversals on a boy you were dating, would you leave him alone with your children?
That's amazing. Oh, jeez.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Here we go.
I have no doubt.
Oh, hang on, let me tell you the forward first. I have no doubt that the United States and this Congress have an important role to play. Here we go.
I have no doubt that the United States and this Congress have an important role to play.
And here he says, sinner, that's the family.
Sinner, that's the family.
Oh, yeah.
Sinner, that's the family.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Sinner, that's the family.
I don't know. You're saying we're all sinners, the United States and the Catholic Church, we're all part of the same family? I don't know. Anyway. And here's a reversal that normally I would say is innocent and benign, but given the other reversals we've seen on the Pope, this one sends chills down my spine. And forwards, he says, has never before, from within and without, fundamental relationships. Oh yeah, the reversals occur where he says fundamental relationships are being called into question. Okay, it's important to note the exact forwards. So here's the forwards.
Never before, from within or without, fundamental relations are being called into question.
Okay, fundamental relations are being called into question. And backwards he says, the children know him.
Children know him.
Children know him.
And again.
Children know him.
Now normally I say that's a nice reversal, but when he's talking about raping the other kid, eating holy cum, suck evil, well, you know what we've talked about, and
he's got kids on his mind.
He's got kids on his mind. You're absolutely right.
His deepest mind too, and this goes. If it's accurate, it goes way back. I would suggest.
Yeah, I think it goes way back. This is a pope who has dirt on his hands, a lot of it. I don't know what else to say, Jeff. It's as blunt as I don't. These are blunt reversals here. This next one here. This next one's a really long one, but it's all there. He's talking forwards. While working to realise their great and noble aspirations, who are not led astray by facile proposal. What's facile? Facile proposal.
Facile. Okay.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Proposal.
Oops. Sorry. Right. Started the wrong place. Now.
While working to realize their great and noble aspirations, who are not led astray by facile proposals, and who face difficult situations.
Okay. Now, this reversal, I believe, is a direct reference to the children who are abused by the church. It says, they are sober, they are tougher, yes, they're grown up. And they are, and they're taking action against the church now. So they are sober, they are tougher, yes, they're grown up.
Jeez.
Look at that, these are the children. Does that one send chills down your spine?
Yeah.
He's scared. He's scared. Because all of the children who've been raped by the church are coming after the church now. I mean, there's millions of lawsuits, multi-million-dollar lawsuits floating around.
Yeah.
So that's... so this is constantly and presently on his mind. And so much so that it pervaded the whole speech to the U.S. Congress. I mean, there's nothing here about U.S. Congress. There's nothing here in congruity with what he's saying. None of the reversals relate to the forward dialogue, if you know what I mean. Well, they've got interesting relations, but they're not about the subject matter. Well, actually, no, they are. He's talking about justice and compassion, and the reversals are reflecting the church's reaction to justice and compassion.
Yeah, they're giving it away. Yeah.
Yep. And this next reversal I'll play, I think, is the most important one in the whole lot. And I pondered this one for a few days before I finally came to conclusion what I thought it meant. So he says, in times of crisis and economic hardship, a spirit of global solidarity must not be lost. Here we go.
And in times of crisis and economic hardship, a spirit of global solidarity must not be lost.
And here he says, we have lost the vault. So what's the vault? Something precious. I think he's talking about the churches, the vaults of heaven. We have lost the authority. We have lost the precious access to God. We have lost the right to be the messengers of God on this earth. We have lost the vault. It has pervaded our church and our society so much that we no longer have any valid moral authority.
They've become completely secular and perverted. It sounds like, from what we're hearing, that it's over for them.
Yeah. That's how I interpret that last reversal.
Yeah.
It's, chilling stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Well, there's one I didn't play here. I'll just pull up this. Actually, there's a couple I didn't play. All right. Look, let's pick up a. Do you know who Jimmy Savile was? James Savile.
Savile. Right. Okay. Yes, of course.
Yeah. Notorious pedophile.
Yeah.
Here he is in the Pope's reversal.
Politics is instead an expression of our compelling need to live as one.
Now, Savile will bring me there. Hear that?
Gee.
Oh, it's bring me them, not there.
It does sound like them, yeah.
It's them.
Yeah, he's saying, now Savile will bring me them.
If you don't know Savile, he was a notorious pedophile, hundreds of cases, I think, and he was friends with the royals and.
BBC. He was a big star in the media, disc jockey, I think, and wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that has become a metaphor for pedophilia and child abuse, which is appearing in the Pope's reversals. Which is pretty pretty and compelling stuff.
Yeah.
And,
this is shocking.
Yeah, I knew you'd be shocked by him. I'm glad you didn't listen to him beforehand, so you could hear him live on the air.
Well, it's time for this organized religious suppression and hegemony over human beings to stop. There's a higher spirituality that we don't need a church to teach us about, and we're born with it. And this is really ugly stuff. And the amount of repression. Your comment that you read earlier about repressed normal sexuality appears to be just boiling at the deepest levels of this man's subconscious.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. There's no denying that. Yeah, now he may not be consciously aware of this.
No.
Well, I don't know whether he is or not. Well,
I think he's certain. No, wait. If these are correct, he is certainly consciously aware of his past behaviors. Right. No question about it. He was a young priest at one point. Come on. And folks, and now he's an old man. And this has become not only his belief system, but it has become him.
Yeah,
he is pedophilia.
Yeah, I think it's a reflection of the Catholic Church as well as his own personal
involvement. Yeah, I think they're overlapped clearly. I agree. Yeah.
There's no other way I can.
I don't know how else. I'm trying to come up with another way to read it, and I can't.
Yeah. Well, I haven't come across any, like I said before, Jeff, I haven't come across any reversals like this. And I've been around for 32 years doing this stuff, you know.
Yeah. It's stunning. And I must say, I'm not terribly shocked by it. I'm sickened by it. Because I've long suspected the church. Well, you go back and look at the Inquisition and all the other horrors perpetrated on the New World by these Catholic Church padres and priests, and wherever they went, they left death and suffering and destruction behind.
As the Pope's reversal said, murder was the Catholic answer. Yeah,
well, murder was the Catholic answer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what the reversal says. So, here, let's play. Oh, where should we go? So many of them. Oh dear! Here, let's play a couple of the most important ones again.
Okay, I got 3 minutes. Go ahead.
3 minutes. Okay. Oh, gee whiz. Okay. All right. Okay. So here we go.
Lincoln, liberty. Martin Luther King, liberty in plurality and non-exclusion. Dorothy Day, social justice and the rights of persons.
See, this verse occurs where he says Dorothy Day and the rise of justice. Bizarre. Eat the holy cum.
Eat the holy cum.
Oh my God.
Eat the holy cum.
And again.
Eat the holy cum.
That one sends chills down my spine, that reversal. It's a complete and utter perversion, is what it is.
Who is Dorothy Day? What am I missing here?
Oh, Dorothy Day. Oh, I thought it was Doris Day. Right, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, no. Then, I don't know who Dorothy Day is.
Well, there is a Dorothy Day. Dorothy Day, OBISB, died in 1980, was an American journalist, social activist, and Catholic convert.
Oh, I see. All right.
Dorothy Day became famous after her conversion. She initially lived a bohemian lifestyle before becoming Catholic. Dorothy's social activism is also described in her autobiography. So she may be some kind of a quasi-saint in the church.
Interesting. Oh, maybe so. Yep.
If there are women saints, I don't think there are.
I don't know.
Did he say Dorothy Day?
Yeah, well, that's what it says in the transcript.
Well, here she's a very famous woman who converted to Catholicism, and it was big news.
I'll be bothered. Yeah, I don't know why that would be there. Yep, all right, let's play one other verse. We've still got time for one more. We'll just repeat this other one. Here we go.
For those peoples and their nations from the heart of American democracy, I wish to reaffirm my highest esteem and appreciation. Those first contacts were often turbulent and violent, but we know that it's very difficult.
And here he says, I raped the other kid. Really clear reversal.
I raped the other kid.
I raped the other kid. See, that's present tense. I raped the other kid. See, that's present tense and personal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'll tell you, I don't know either, but that is some remarkable material to consider when you consider the Catholic Church in its entirety. And it has a problem. Priests all over the place are being arrested and charged by little boys who have grown up into adults now and won't stand the grief anymore and the agony, and they're filing suits, and the church is paying people off that never get to the point of filing suits.
They're sober, they're tougher, they've grown up.
Yeah, there's probably hundreds of millions of dollars being paid out in hush money, settlement money, God only knows what other kind of money. I don't know. I just... Now, that's not to say that all Catholics are evil and guilty by any means. We're not talking about that. We're talking about one man and one speech, and one man who represents, allegedly, the values of the entire church. So you'll have to take it from there.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Well, David, I'm stunned.
Yep.
Don't know what else to say. Just
I was when
stunned.
that was sent to me. I was too. I go, you got to be kidding me. When I was playing them, I was just shocked.
Well, I tell you, we'll see what happens. Take care of yourself, David.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
All right. All right. Well, I told you it was. I specifically didn't listen until I heard it myself with you, and so there it is. For what it's worth, it is up to you to decide what it's worth. All right. Another piece of the patchwork quilt of information we present every night for your consideration. And we'll be back tomorrow. Take care.